Hello, and welcome to week 2 of using Google Classroom for online learning. This video will help you get started with creating your own class in Classroom. You can see I'm already signed in, so I'm going to go to the Google Tools and launch Classroom. I could also go to the menu bar and type classroom.google.com. Here I can see the classes I'm currently enrolled in or teaching, but I want to create a new one, so I will hit this plus. Last week we joined a class, but this time we'll create our own. I'll type the name of the class. Since I'm just going to experiment with this one, I'll call it Sample. Here's some other information that you can fill in. It's optional, but subject room if you like. I'm going to hit Create. As a tip, I like to put the year of my class in there. That'll help me identify it later on when I try to reuse posts from year to year. I also like to create a class for each one of my physical classes, even if it happens to be the same topic. As soon as it's created, I'm in my new class. I called it Sample. One of the first things I like to do is select a theme. I can use one of Google's preset themes over here on the right, or I can upload a photo to kind of customize it to my liking. Right here, we're in the class stream. The default view, you can tell by this tab. This is where we put things like announcements. Students over here on the left will see upcoming assignments if they happen to be anything due in the near future. And over here is our announcements. You can welcome people to the class. As you post assignments, they'll flow in here, but it is a blog type format. Older posts to the bottom, newer information to the top. But you'll want to get some students in your class, or perhaps you co-teach. In either event, one of the ways you can do that is go to the People tab. If I want to invite teachers, I'll use this icon up here in the Teachers section. If I want to manually add students, I can use this button down here where I'd have to type each person's email. Most of the teachers I work with opt to go with this other method, the way you join the class. If I go to my gear, I can find in here the class code. I can hit the drop down, I can copy it, post it up on my website, or I can display it. If the students are in class, they could either copy it down, or if they have devices, they could log in right on the spot. I can also make it even bigger with that icon. I'll go ahead and close out of this. I'll close out of my settings and go back to my stream. An alternative way to find your class code is to use this About tab we saw before. About only has the class code for you. All right, let's just do a quick example stream. It says share something with my class. I can go ahead and click right in there. If you are teaching multiple classes, you want to make the same post, I can hit this drop down and it'll show me all my classes. I can check the additional ones I'd like to announce. I could also choose particular students. In this class, I just created it, so there are no students to choose from. But I'll just say, welcome to class. If I wanted, I could hit this clip and upload a syllabus. I could use a file from my Google Drive. That's why we spent some time in week 1 on Google Drive. I can link a YouTube video, link a website, or any combination or multiples of those. When I'm ready, I could either hit post, which will make the information available immediately to the students, or I can hit this drop down. I can save this as a draft and finish it up later, or I can schedule it to be posted at a particular date and time. I'm good with posting it right now, so I'll do that. And this is now available to the class. But really, I think where you're going to spend most of your time after you have your class set up is here on the Classworks tab. So I'm going to click Classwork, and to make new assignments and other information, you're going to use this Create button over here in the top left. I'll hit that plus Create button. Most of the time I'll make an assignment. If I wanted to ask a question, that'll enable a discussion with the students. If I wanted to post some material that they don't have to do anything, but it's reference material, much like I did, I called our section in our class Resources. That's material for your use, or I can reuse from my other classes. Let's just use an assignment as an example. Again, I have the option to send it to multiple classes if I'd like, or particular students. But I'll say assignment was. I can give additional details. I can choose to have this as an ungraded or the number of points for this particular assignment. I can set a due date. So if I hit the drop down, I can change it to when I'd like this assignment due. Optionally, I can add the time. Here's the topic. This will kind of arrange your assignments into categories. If you were an elementary teacher, I might make categories such as math and ELA. Or you can make topics more granular. You can make things like integers or rational numbers and such. Really, topics just kind of arrange in blocks the groups of information in your class. Again, I have the same options as I did with the announcement. I can upload a file from my computer, link something to my Google Drive, a YouTube video, or link to another website. I'm just going to quickly grab on Drive, and I'm going to grab a file just to point out one thing here. I'm just going to go ahead and just select this one. You can navigate around your Drive and such. Here, when I have a file attached from Google Drive, and it's why I like to use Drive, you see here students can view this file. This is a read-only version. They'll have something like maybe a review sheet or maybe a project guide. I could also let them all edit the same file, but keep in mind the entire class is working on one document. Well, what I like to do is make a copy for each student. That's what we did for our riddle assignment last week. That way each student gets their own copy, they can fill in answers and submit it and turn it in to me. Again, I have the same options as I did before. I can either assign it immediately, schedule it, or save it as a draft. I'll go ahead and assign it now, and that's set. We'll go into a little more detail and have another video a little later in the week. If you're wondering how to get to your other classes, that's what this main menu button does. If I click there, I can see the classes I'm teaching or enrolled in right here at a glance, or I can click on the classes page and see my cards of classes again. That's about all for today. Hopefully you have a good evening.